First things first. I got a love Jones for you. Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find himself to America by the way of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. Yes, we're in the middle of the fall, and all the Indigenous people should understand what the fall or autumn brings. We're really going into this decadent culture. So remember, time used to be told by the way of the seasons. That's something most of us gotten out of. We don't do that no more because we do what other people say, don't we? And then try to act like we don't do it, but we don't do what our people. See that umbilical cord? That umbilical cord? All you see there, that's the roots. You see the umbilical cord is connected to the roots. But what you call African Americans, what you call blacks, they don't see that. Let them go. Seriously, because you'll gain more insight to yourself. Who are you? Who do you connect to? Who is this baby connected to? Why do they cut your umbilical cord? Damn, when your head is out the womb. Your umbilical cord is cut. Why? To cut you off from who you are. Black people, African American people, Moors, Hebrew Israelites, Hoteps, they won't get that because they've been trained that they have been those things. Not what they are, not who they are, not who they were connected to through their mamas. You're not supposed to know that. You're supposed to know that you're some fictional character that somebody said you are, that someone named you. And those names aren't in those roots you see on the page. I hope you guys are getting it. This is really difficult for a lot of Negroes to get. They don't believe it. Jesus didn't tell them that. They only know what they've been told. So if you ask the average Negro, African American, what are those roots that he's connected to? I don't know. What you talking about? They don't know. This is what I'm saying. These people that you're talking about, remember, they're fictional characters written by somebody else. You think African American is in those genes that we see that this infant is connected to? Is black? I'm not talking about what he's called when he gets out. I'm talking about why he's in there developing, why she's in there developing. Are those terms that you hear today, is that in those roots that you see that if it is connected to? Now, I realize many of you won't understand that those are roots. They are. Just look at them. The African American won't get it. Don't get it. Why? Because they have been trained that they were something else. Soon as they get out the womb, soon as that Similac hits their throat, they're trained that there's something else. We might have a special guest coming through tonight. I understand why she doesn't want to speak to the indigenous community no more. I understand. But this is what it is. Remember, you have gatekeepers out here to ensure that you don't learn nothing but to give your money. You have gatekeepers who are promised a token if they can keep that job going. You ever wonder why the black people, the African Americans, never said to themselves, huh, we're giving all our money to the foreigners, but none of the foreigners are giving their money to us. Why? You ever notice the African American black people? They don't think like that. Their job is to make sure everything they get goes to somebody else that is not them. Those of you who don't see it that way, please explain. Come here, explain to us, because we may be doing it the wrong way. Because everybody has a voice, everybody has something to say. But if you don't have nothing to say, but some dumb shit that you heard, let's see what's happening. Pan mulatto ism.
Peace, King. How you doing?
I'm not a king, sir,
And that's why your land is taken over by foreigners, respectfully,
because of a king.
because you're not one. You're not protecting your territory, respectfully.
So let me get this straight. So the king of England is protecting his territory.
He's doing more to protect his territory than you are,
Sir,
respectfully.
I didn't listen. We communicate civilly over
Yeah,
here. I know you
exactly.
can't do that.
Yes, sir.
So okay, okay. So let me make my point, because this is what I mean. This is what's in trouble. And when we finish, you will say, "I'm sorry." The King of England has his land invaded by millions of foreigner, right? Right?
And he's still a majority. You're not,
So,
respectfully.
sir, would you say, I wouldn't say a majority, but damn near close to the majority of the people of that country came over here to escape the repression that they were going through back there?
And there's still a majority in that country over there. Checkmate.
Sir, you didn't answer the question.
Yes, you're evading.
The
You're not the
people
majority in your land. They're the majority in their land. Big difference.
explain.
Yes, you're only approximately 14% of the population of your own land. When we look at the UK, they are at least 70%. Now, yes, they are invaded by foreigners, but not to the degree that you are, respectfully.
My turn.
Yes,
So
brother.
this is what I want the audience to get. When you're talking to people, check out what they say. So you're saying in England, it's more people of English stock, the indigenous people of England, it's more people of the indigenous stock in England than everybody else.
They're definitely more than 12% of the population like you are.
Sir, I
Sure.
didn't ask you that.
I
Please.
answered the question already.
No,
I said
no,
70%.
no, no, you
Did you,
didn't
did you miss
answer
the percentage?
anything. I
You might have
asked,
missed the percentage. I said
dude,
70, so that's the
listen.
majority.
So when you're asked a question, because just like you do me, you ask a question, I'm saying, when you ask the question, answer it. All that other bullshit, save that for TikTok and all of that. People come here to try to learn stuff, man, to make themselves better. That pan-mulattoism, whatever that is, say that. Answer the question. I didn't ask you that. If I ask you a question, answer it. If you ask me a question, I'll answer it. What you think and what you say, I don't care. Answer the question. Now I'm gonna let you back up and we're gonna start all over. If this falls into what it had been, we're just gonna move along. Okay. And please, brother, you don't have to come back. You can just listen because really, the Negro, the Pan African, the mulatto. You got the stage, sir.
Yes, did you hear my answer, or are you see now? Respectfully.
What do they call that? Ad hominem attacks. So you guys would know what ad hominem attacks is. If you don't, type it in your search engine and look it up. Ad hominem attacks are when people they can't talk. Hello, sir. How you doing this morning? Hello, ma'am. Can I help you to your car with your groceries? Being civil. Hey, can I carry that for you, ma'am? These type people don't have those type skills. They just don't. And you can tell when they're speaking, they don't. And so here at African Americans ain't Africans. Damn, everybody knows something. Give us what you know so we can move forward. The Pamulatitism, the Hebrew Israelite, the black people, they can't do that. So Pamulatitism, piss off, dude. We don't need that. So the image I have up on the screen is just what I wanted to get into. Is this generation motivated? No, they're not. I mean, and like I say, if somebody can come up and explain how they are, give it to us. Because obviously the previous generation before you didn't have a clue. And they passed on what they knew to you. Now, we want to know what's the plan, what's going to happen next when you see in the world being shaped how it is, because we can't always live in the past. You got to live where you are now so you can make some sense of the future. This is what we ask African Americans to do. This is what we ask Pamulatitism what to do, Hebrew Israelite, and they don't have a fucking clue. Yap, 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 yap. Nothing. Don't know nothing. They still calling themselves Black Indians. For real, cuz? For real? You don't know what the definition of black or what black means? No. No. Don't care. Long as they're confused, which will make their children confused, they're happy. Is this generation motivated? And I'm saying no, and somebody in this generation that can please explain. Because you see this baby connected to his umbilical cord, and they chop yours off as soon as you get out the womb. As soon. I don't even think it's 5 minutes. It cuts you off. All that information your mama has in her, that's what those roots signify. What you call the African American Black person, I mean, so listen, this is what I'm saying. No one QW2XS, nobody. Black means nothing. He calls himself no one. I just can't win for Luther. I'm just playing, dude, but he calls himself no one, and he knows, or she knows. We have black man's manosphere. Let's see what black. So we're about to see what black people are talking about. Black manosphere.
Peace and blessings.
Peace, dude.
What's the conversation about? Is this generation motivated?
Yes.
Motivated to do what? Motivated to do what exactly?
So you okay. Motivates to do anything.
Motivated to do anything. I think this generation is definitely taking advantage of AI, computers, the day and time that they're growing up in. And I think they'll find their way like any generation finds their way in their time.
Okay. So you're saying this generation is getting everything from AI.
I think they're gonna be using it more, yeah, because they're growing up, and that's the time they grew up in. Is a computer world, AI world, and so they're gonna eventually take advantage of it through the technology, through IT, and all these different things.
So you see now on a lot of the AI, it has a disclaimer on it, not meant to, that type of information. This is not, we can confirm this information. Some of this information can be, you're seeing AI is starting to do that, right?
A little bit, a little bit. Hmm.
No, it's a lot, because they have to give you disclaimer because it's artificial. It's
A
not.
lot of certain AI things that I see, some certain they say this is AI, and then certain ones it doesn't even say anything, and you can clearly see this is AI, but it's not saying it.
Okay, sir. So you see how when I was speaking, you just came in and just jumped in and killed off what I was saying. You
No, I
see,
didn't, and if I did, I'm sorry. Apologize. Continue.
yeah, don't do it again. You think and learning from a computer that tells you now that all this information, well, we don't know. You think that this generation learning from that is going to help future generations. How?
Well, I think it'll be the generations that they grow up in, the time that they grow up in. I don't know how it's going to help them, but they're going to adapt to the technology and time that they are in and use it to their advantage.
If you look, I don't know if how you're listening to it, but if you look at the screen, we have one of the listeners asked a question, or made a comment. AI is going to be the death of us. What do you say to him?
I mean, we all got to die from something. I mean, we're all going to die. I mean, we've been dying from things that ain't AI. So, I mean, if that's the future, then they're going to die from it. I mean, I guess I mean, what can you say? We're all going to die of something, die sometime. I don't really know what to say to that.
So this is why I told everybody to listen to, you're coming from a black ideology, reference, belief, whatever it is. You're coming from a black side. Everybody knows that black means nothing. Everybody knows that when you want to redact something, when you want to hide something, everybody knows that you blot it out in black ink or black, however, you've seen something that's redacted. Everybody knows that around this is in their lifetime because this baby, he's connected to his whoever his mama came from. All that information, everybody knows that the term black, your grandfather would slap the shit out of you if you called him black. Why? Because they knew it was a term used to get rid of them. Guess who don't know that? And it's right in your face. People tell you every day, you've never seen nobody that's black. Never. Yet you use that to identify and to train yourself into being. Sir, I had a friend tell me today, oh, Carrie, you're too. No. You can't lie to these youth. You can't bullshit them because they'll end up twisted. You're not black. And when you can get the people who you term black, when you get them to believe that they're black, you got them. Thinking that you're going to learn from artificial intelligence, I'm with no one, man. And we would like you to step up and explain no one, this is another brother who's just listening. He says AI is going to be the death of us. Why would you promote and act something that's going to be the death of us?
You asking me a question?
Yeah, that's how we learn
I'm
questions.
not. I'm no doubt. I didn't know if you was talking directly to me and asking me a question. That's why I asked. To answer your question, I didn't. I don't feel like I'm promoting AI, or I don't do AI, so I'm not promoting. I can just see the future. I can see where it's at right now, and it can only get greater. So I could see people taking advantage of it, coming up with their own animations, and I think people are pretty much owning themselves these days and getting into their interest and becoming who they want to be in life and not letting life dictate it for them.
Isn't that what artificial intelligence does? Dictate life to you?
I think it could be used. I mean, graphics and designs and imagination. I just think it can all just be used positively, and people are generating money and things from promoting things through it. So I just think it can only get greater.
Well, Black Manosphere, I wish you the best, dude. I hope what you're saying is right, but remember the term artificial. Artificial means not real. So like you're breathing air, that's real. If you was breathing something other than oxygen, air, it would be artificial. You drink water, H2O, what falls from the sky, you drink that. Drinking something that's not that is artificial. So you have a heart that's pumping. Artificial or real. You have a brain. Artificial or real. So, so that's what I do. I think about these things that are being said, these things that are being passed down. And what I see is that, like you see that baby in that womb, that's connected to all mama. Because remember, he was there when his mama was in his mama's womb. Black people don't think like that. They think about what other people tell them. If you go to California today, you will see Black people in California put cotton on their roofs to pretend like it's snow to celebrate Christmas in a desert. That's what black people do. So when somebody can name you, tell you who you are, all of that, when somebody who is not you can tell you that, dude, they got you. And the more you talk about how it's not, the dumber it sounds. You walk around with their papers in your wallet, in your bank accounts, in your safes. Do they walk around with your papers? The papers that you tell them what they got to be? Because this little baby right here, he's connected to that umbilical cord, which they cut off immediately. That has all the info of his ancestors in him. But y'all don't say that's who you are. You call yourselves black. You call yourselves nothing. You call yourselves artificial intelligence. So, like some people, and that's why I really appreciate you guys who get it. You're part of nature. Earth, wind, there is no excuse. There is no excuse for y'all to be walking around acting like this, not knowing nothing. You had musical groups that called themselves Earth, Wind, and Fire. Didn't listen to the music. So is this generation motivated? Blacks Manosphere? No. What Campbell Soup just told you, and this is one of the hugest corporations in America. They feeding you printed meat. Why? Because you forgot or you walked away from your indigenous farming. You walked away from everything that you did and you want to be somebody else. That's black people. You ask black people what they did, who are black people, they can't tell you. You think when these people came over here, you introduced yourself as black? Black people do. Black people, African Americans do. They only believe what they've been told. They don't believe the history in this umbilical cord right there. They're not in that. Gwendolyn Reed says, AI is not real. In my opinion, AI is replacing humans. Yes, Carrie, to call yourself black is to say you are zero. Dude, everybody knows this. How can't you look at the color black? How can't you look at the color black and see that people wear black at funerals? You've never seen nobody that's black. If you say that, you'll lie, admit it, and then go ahead and work on yourself. Try to make yourself better. Black people don't do that. What was the most embarrassing things I say, and this is where black people get fucked all the time. It was a week ago, I heard a story about some kids jumped a mama and her kid on the way to school. Kids! What do you think those kids' parents are? And you call yourself black. They promote it as black people doing it. And you know what you say? I know. That's what black people do. Try to talk like they're smart. Don't do that seriously, because it really makes you sound dumb. Those people who try to sell, the perpendicular circumference of the isosceles. Don't do that. You don't know what you're talking about. and people who do know. And thank God, a lot more people are starting to realize, damn, they're not black. They don't have blinders on. They don't wear shades at night. Isn't that what black people do? Wear shades at night? Beverly Martin says if you're using AI to create, you're not using your given talents. You are relying on some. I mean, damn. Damn. Huh? Huh? Simple. All you gotta do is think about it. And this is what we mean. Black man is fair. And please explain what that is. Because so if I hear it, people won't think I'm being rude or nothing. Please, can you explain what Black Manosphere is?
Yeah, sure. It's just a play off of the space called the Black Manosphere, and it's just a play off the words. It's just a play off the syllables and the words, and changing it into Black Man is fair, as Black man is a fair man on the planet,
You talk where on the planet?
all over the planet.
I mean, give me a place where you've been, so we won't be confused and start talking a whole bunch of bollocks. But where is he fair? Is he fair here in America? Are you in America?
Yes, from my perspective, personally, yes, I'm born and raised in America.
Okay, where is the Black man is fair? Where does that go on at? Shit, I might have to move there.
It's really a space on YouTube. Like I said, like they have the manosphere is a space on YouTube. You have the white manosphere, and then guys from that are black went and made it the Black Manosphere and started things from there. And I just played off the words. It's really manosphere, Manosphere is sphere, manosphere. But I just played off the words and made it my own thing.
Okay, so what does Black Manosphere mean?
That means that the black man is fair. He's not corrupt. He's not trying to take over the world, shoot up everybody, kill everybody, and bring destruction. And I find the black man to be very fair and just wanting to be balanced and just live.
I don't see
as
that
a personal philosophy.
It's a personal philosophy. Could you?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us how does that work?
So it works as like black people we haven't taken people to war. We're not trying to take over governments and a lot of the things that business wise that the whites and other races get into, the black man is not into that.
So let me ask you this, and you tell me if this is helpful to the black man and woman. Is the Black man is fair? Does the Black man is fair? The black man. Does the black man have more stuff in his house that he's created or that somebody else has created?
With the like inventions and things within his own home?
I don't give a fuck.
I would say other
paper. Come on, man. Stop. Come on.
I'm getting there, sir. If you're talking about inventions and things like that, then that other people created. I mean, I feel like black man has created everything, and people have stolen and taken and manufactured and industrialized. But if you want to just say, hey, these are other creations, inventions, and they come from China and Taiwan or whatever, yes, I could see what you're saying in that aspect.
Hey man, check this out. Simple. It's like you going and it's not that. But when you meet a young lady and you go to talk to her, whatever, you try to make the conversation as simple as possible so you can see if you're on the same page. That's what I do. So when you say the black man is fair, I have questions like, do the black man have in his pockets other people's papers to describe him, or do other people have black man's papers in their pockets telling them who they are?
Well, me personally, I mean, I tell myself who I am. I think black people have a document in there, in like a license, or saying what their ethnicity and things like that and who they are. But if you're saying it's somebody else's or it's not theirs, I'll try to follow along with you.
Brother, it's simple. Do you have other people's papers in your pocket telling you who you are, or do other people have in their pockets information of you telling them who they are? It's not hard.
I have information in my pocket telling me who I am. Yes, and it's from the system, and yes,
Okay,
that I
okay,
live in. Yes.
okay. So this is all I'm saying, brother. This is all I'm trying to see. What do you say? And you know what the black man says all the time? You know what he says all the time? What you
What's that?
just what you just said. So what I would suggest, brother, simply find out who you are. Find out who your mama, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your great grandmama, your great great granddaddy, because that's what's in that umbilical cord right there. And you are that. Now, you can come up, you can be a Hotep, a Hebrew Israelite, you can be all of that. Have a good life. When you out here talking and you don't know what you're talking about, like you've shown today. The people in the chat, like, damn, dude, simple shit. You don't know. Find out and stop trying to sound intelligent because you don't. Not everybody's dumb, dude. The majority is 90% is. They are. You ask the average Christian, how do men give birth to women? Huh? That's what your Bible says. Your Bible says that men give birth to women. You can't read, so you don't read. You don't even know. The Bible tells you that. Page 1. Page 1. Guess who don't know? So that's what I'm saying, dude. When you call yourselves what other people call you, you are what they say you are. But when they can get you to call yourselves that, you are that. These people can tell you anything. And the black man, that's why he got more stuff. That's why he got more of their stuff in his house than he has of himself. The black man don't support black people. The black man supports everybody else. Tell me I'm lying and prove it. If you can't, go back, learn, man. The black man only supports other people, don't he?
I don't know. All my life and
Well,
my wages and
and that's what I'm saying, bro. This is why we can't
uh,
win, because we always bullshit. You know, stop
I'm about to
lying.
answer. I was about to speak for myself. So all my life, my wages and my things have gone to my family. So if that's who I'm in support of, in my life, I've been in support of my family
So your family lives where?
here in America,
Where in America, sir?
in New York.
Okay, so what does New York produce that is everybody wants? The indigenous people in New York. What do they produce that they can trade with the world?
I don't know. You maybe you can give me the answer.
I'm not from New York. I can tell you about Alabama. I
Oh,
can't
you
tell you.
mean how do people live in New York? What are they? What are their aspirations and things? What are they?
Hey man,
Is that what you're asking?
we gonna go ahead and let you go, man. That's you're not getting it. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with us. Um, and this is what I'm saying. This is what the position the children will be in. I don't know nothing, just talking, trying to sound intelligent and don't. This is what's being handed off to the children. This is why I ask, is this generation motivated? No, no. They with artificial intelligence. You will put artificial intelligence over yourself? Yeah, yeah. This is where you are. So is this generation motivated? And you got to remember the generations they've been trained by. You have people from Yugoslavia coming up with little Yugoslavia in places. You go to LA, little Bangladesh. They're setting themselves up over you. Guess who don't know that? Black people. So you got to remember, there's nobody that's black. If somebody show me a picture of a black person, and what mean by black person, somebody the color of your phone, the color of your shoes, black, the color black, something when you see something redacted, you see a black line going through it. Somebody, $100 to your favorite charity. I'll give it to you. Now, show me an image of a person that's black, that color. You won't do it because you can't do it because it's not happening. Yet you keep running your mouth, confusing anybody that listens. That's what you do. That's what you do. So we're just going to bring this home. I thought we were going to have a special guest, but maybe next time. You see this baby connected to the umbilical cord, connected to himself, his ancestors, where he's from, the vitamins and minerals. When they do take blood from you and all that, they going back to all of that. Guess who don't go? The black man. He'll probably go where the umbilical cord is at his knee. That's where he'll stop. You go back, all those people are calling your name. You're connected to them. You're them. You have traveled through that. And so when you say, I don't know, the next time you hear one of these shining, I don't know, you check their ass. You lived through all of that. You don't hear your people calling your name. None of them's talking to you. Yeah, they're talking to you. You just ignore them. Ignore. Ignorance. Don't let nobody tell you that ignorance means dumb. Ignorance means you're ignoring what's going on. Ignore, ignorance, the act of ignoring. Somebody tell you ignorant, you will teach everybody you know that ignorance means dumb, and it don't. Dumb means dumb. All those rules. I mean, you got how many people got nurses in their family? How many people have nurses in their family they're not even trained to be a nurse? That's just who they are. They're always taking care of something. Normally, people, isn't that your uncle, aunts, and aren't those your people? Guess what black people say? Guess what black people say? Seriously, guess what they say? Is this generation motivated? We got to ask, why are they not motivated? Why isn't this generation motivated? I mean, you'll see you've seen some of the people here that they are, but they're a small minority. And if you ask them when they go to speak making sense, they'll get cussed out because that's what black people do. You have to ask yourself, what do black people do? Do the black people go back to the lands that they were kicked from? Do they go back and try to build, and do they do that? No. The black people do what they're told to do. That's all they do. That's all they do. All those people, you see that umbilical cord? Remember, the umbilical cord is the roots. Like you have the roots in the tree, you have roots too. It's showing you right there. Same thing. Aren't those people that you came from? Aren't those people? Didn't those people live in certain places? You live there too. You're a soul. You're not human. This is just the form you take when you get here. And people can affix labels to you, and you will be what they affix to you. That's been going on, the past 200 years? If somebody says you're a Christian, you will be a Christian. Even those Christians aren't in those roots. You will be a Christian, won't you? If somebody comes and tell you you're an African American and nobody in them roots have ever been on a ship across the Atlantic, when you come out, you will be what they tell you you are. Isn't that what black people do? To be honest. So you got to remember, you can't confuse these kids because they're your replacements. You see all those roots in that umbilical cord? That's your great granddaddy. That's your great great grandmama. You've been here. But somebody can come tell you something and you just believe what they say. You a Greek? You a Hebrew? This is connecting you to the land. This is connecting you to the land. Your people came from the land. Somebody tell you that they bought you 5,000 miles across the ocean, which they don't even do that shit today. And you believe it? And yes, I guess we did. We have an listen, Lisa Cypress. This is one of my oh man. What this woman is, I'm saying, teach your children. Don't say didn't tell you. Lisa Cypress, y'all. What's up, home girl? Your mic is mute.
Wingapo, how you doing?
What's up?
I decided to appear.
You don't tweet.
Yes.
This
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Copper Color Lifestyle, how you doing? Bad
color
say
like
you.
copper color lifestyle is a straight G for
Yeah,
real.
I know it. Gotta appreciate.
Hey, we've been hey, I mean, I know I have, and there's been plenty of people. We'll be on here talking about toilet paper, and they'll bring you up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah. So listen,
Yeah.
it's people out there. They get you. They own it, and
Well,
they've really been asking about you.
yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank you, Kayuk, Amanisa. Well, thank you, BRK. I'm glad to be back. You know, like I told Carrie, it was hard. It's mixed feelings that I have because I'm down for this fight. And my daughter was like, Young Thugs took a plea deal, but you wouldn't take one. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I refuse a plea deal. That's why I'm out. Believe that or not. Yes, I am out because I refused to cop a plea. I received 3 plea deals. I turned them all down because this is about truth. This is about me not being a fraud. This is about me working hard for my people that I don't know to reclaim what is ours. And I will not be deterred or have someone turn it into a fraud case where it's not a fraud. Like, that's not going to happen. So I guess over this year and a half and all the things that they have done, it has circled back to me. It's a matter of, do you understand what they're doing to you or do you don't? Right? So for me, I was like, oh, I know it on a high level now. I know exactly what the law is in my case. And I really got it down to the point where I understood every element of what a deed, a quit claim is. What is a clout? What is an encumbrance? What is a lien? How are they different? How is the code that they use against me? What is that really? How is it applied? How is it misapplied? How is it inappropriate? What are the elements of that law? And I could speak on it from my head. And in pretrial, I think that left a kind of an indelible impression. And I would not take a deal. I was willing to ride this out, whatever the case. They could use all the fraud they want to. They could be criminal as they wanted to be, but I was not willing to submit to something that is not true. And they didn't want to go through with the trial because they didn't want to be, I guess, embarrassed, maybe. I don't know. But they didn't want to lose. And they still probably don't know what to do. But they're going to have to drop it or do something because they don't have a case. It's not a case. And, I was just talking to a brother, just a few minutes ago, and he was like, so do you know what your indictments? I was like, sir, I represent myself. It's so funny because it's like it's hard. I mean, it's hard to talk to people because like people don't really understand the nuances of dealing with this many indictments. Who does? Like, there are very few attorneys that deal with a case with 52 indictments. Who has that? Who does that? And if they do, they don't do it as a single attorney. They have a team of attorneys plus paralegals and other secretaries and whatnot. So to single-handedly defend yourself against what became 52 indictments, plus a misdemeanor, they added that on for good measure, a fake misdemeanor, which is, they just wanted to add, that's how much trauma they wanted to add to me. They wanted, it wasn't enough that I had 51 indictments. They added another one, and they added a misdemeanor for trespassing that dated back to 2024, but they used the 25 case number. So they just created it. And you can't even adjudicate, you can't prosecute a misdemeanor a year after the date. But that's how desperate they were. And if you don't know, if I didn't know, that would have overwhelmed me, and it would have frightened me, and it would have gotten me to say, oh, you're going to break it down to one charge only? That's all I got to admit to, one? Anybody would say, okay, just let me out of here. That's not what happened.
Lisa, I mean, can you put it in a way that people are understanding? Because I don't think people really quite understand what's going through and how you are them. I mean, everybody. Can
Okay.
you? Yes, thanks.
So I don't know. I'm going to try to, and if I don't do a good job, let me know, because like I said, I'm still getting acclimated into being outside of the jail and just like thinking differently. But this land is just like any land, any of you. Bad Saint, it's your land. Beverly Martin, it's your land. No one, it's your land. It is literally your land, because the Accomack Nation is like a very big, it's like they teach you about these, they give you these names of like Algonquin. Algonquin is a made up term. You know, that's not even Indian. You know what I'm saying? They give you these terms, they feed you these misnomers for you to latch on to. But the Accomack are really like, they span like vastly from Canada down past Alabama. So it's literally, what I'm saying to you is that it literally is your land that we're talking about. Not only that, is what happened is our chief, who they try to give that chief to the Lumbees. Well, the Lumbees aren't even real. They're not historically real, but we are historically real. And that chief in North Carolina was Virginia. So historically, that's Accomack. That's the Wingina or Vigina, Chief Wigina. That's our chief. That chief has patents that go from Canada all the way down to Alabama and beyond. That chief had the forethought of, like, in the 1500s, like putting a stamp mark on stuff. Like, we're not taught this. So when I talk about patents,
Your mic is muted.
sorry, no one has stood up as an indigenous nation and reclaimed land. That hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Most people that organize as nations either try to be Native American or some other compromised form of nation where they're somehow in the bed with the government and they're keeping it. They're not really trying to assert their rights. They're not really trying to reclaim anything that has been stolen. That's the honest truth. And most of you aren't at a point where you're even thinking in that way. But what happened with me, everything was accelerated because the ancestors were working me, and they still are. They worked me very hard. And it's a job that I guess I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm supposed to be doing. I shouldn't even say that. But either way, this land, what we're doing is creating a precedent, a standard.
When you say ancestors, I just wanted to put that baby to those roots to make the point. Go back to you.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh, God, I don't even have a thing no more. What happened to my thing? I guess I've been off my computer so long. But anyway, so basically, that's the thing. We have a right to this patented land. This land belongs to us forever. Because we don't understand, like, I'm not saying that, because even for me, like I tell Carrie all the time, things happen in levels. At first I understood the patent on a really very, very basic level, like not really getting it. But now I understand it to the point that these mother suckers wanted to take my life away. Because I was claiming this land legally, lawfully, naturally, right? They wanted to destroy me. They called me a fraud. They destroyed my career as a nurse. They destroyed my ability to earn a living. And they literally took my house while I was being handcuffed in my cul-de-sac of a home I built 32 years ago. They used the marshals with forged deed to take my house with forged deeds and a forged writ of daggone eviction, like I was a renter. And they didn't want to hear anything I had to say about the court cases that were protecting my house in U.S. District Court. I had a quiet title and all this declaratory judgment pending, and U.S. They didn't care because the warrant said fraud fugitive. Fast forward to today. How is it that a fraud fugitive, so-called, is now talking to you with 52 indictments plus a misdemeanor? Why do you think that is? I don't have an attorney. I am my attorney. I am self-represented. How is it that I'm out without having to pay a dime? And they extradited me, flew me on Delta from Decatur, Georgia. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting out here talking to you because my trial was due. And they did everything for me to not have witnesses, not have my exhibits. They blocked them so that they could continue the trial. They didn't want the trial to take place. They can't handle the trial. They've committed huge, huge, huge criminal acts against me. They hadn't arraigned me, and they put out a warrant for my arrest and extradited me and jailed me for 75 days. Without arraigning me, that means the case wasn't even set. That means there was no case.
You know what's so cold about this is this is the legal system or the law system or whatever you want to call it that's going on in America every day.
It
Every
does.
county, every county,
Mhm.
and as a group of people, when you hear about us, our children are jumping a mother and her son on the way to school.
If that's true.
Okay, okay.
I don't
But
know. I haven't
but,
seen this thing. I
you
really
can't
want.
okay, we can say it's not true. Let
I
we
don't
we'll say it's not true. But these are the images. These are the ideas, the ideology that's put in people's mind. And like
know.
you started, when you were naming all the people that was in the chat, this is your land. And we're being pumped with other stuff that makes no sense. And when we get together to try to talk about it, all it ends up is being an argument. Nobody knows. Everybody's just trying to sound smart, but it's not smart. She's telling you this is your land, and these are the tactics that these people use to keep your land.
They
But
want to beat me up because they don't want Bad Saint to come through the door. They don't want Akil to come through the door. They don't want no one to. They don't want James to come through the door. They don't want copper colored lifestyle to come through that same door. So they're trying to blow the door up with me in it. They're trying to see. This is the thing. Someone asked me, and I said, I said that's a shame because when I was asked about my case and he didn't know I was like, damn, people don't even really understand what it is. It is us claiming it as ourselves and claiming it to ourselves based upon the patent. The patent is the ownership. And we own it because we are the bloodline recipients of that patent. It's our Accomac patent. We don't claim to be Joe Blow or Susie Q. We don't even name their names. Our quitclaim deeds merely convey it from us to us. And that's what quitclaims do. They transfer things from one person to the other. If Donald Duck got a divorce from Daisy Duck and wanted to give the house to her, he would just file a quitclaim deed and say, here you go, Daisy, you get the house. That's what it is. He couldn't give it to her if he didn't own it. Now, if it was my house, he can't give it to Daisy Duck. But because Donald Duck owns it, he can transfer it to Daisy Duck. That's what a quitclaim is. You can't transfer nothing if you don't own it. So the problem with the thing that they fear the most is the fact that we do own it by virtue of that patent, but they don't want us to know. But the dumbasses don't realize that you jailing me over this stuff makes it quite clear that that we own it. Because if we didn't, why would you even try to do this to me? Why would you go so hard against me if we don't actually own it by actually stating it in the quitclaim? This is what they don't want you to know. This is what they don't want you to follow. This is what they don't want you to replicate. They're not gonna put me in a silver on the network and paint me as look at her, she's getting back her land. They don't want you to know this. They want you to see me as a villain that's doing weird shit. I'm a nurse. I'm not just a regular nurse. I'm a very dedicated nurse. I do critical care, open heart surgery, heart transplant patients. I have massage hearts. If I lie, people die. Do you understand me? If I said, oh, I didn't give that medication, or, oh, yeah, I gave the right medication and don't tell the truth that I gave the wrong medication, people will die. I have to be honest. I don't take my career as a game. I don't create my calling as a game. And my calling in doing this is not a game. It is not for personal game. It is for nation game. And our nation is vast. It is the Confederacy that they call Powhatan. That's what we are. We are the true Powhatans. So if you have any so-called Powhatan lineage, you're really an Accomac. because that's a remix. That's a lie. Powhatan was just one of the daggone, brothers that got they held the crown for a minute. We've had many.
So if any of the listeners have any questions for Lisa, please step up and ask your questions, because when she wasn't here, you guys was asking about her. Now that she's here, you can ask her the questions yourself. You can ask her, and I put the link to the chat. Yeah, I put the link to the chat, and so we can get it. But yo, Lisa, yeah, one of the well, it's not a question. It's just when you first went in, I was asking people, a lot of people who are talking about, I'm indigenous, I do this, I will that. I was asking, well, is there anything you can do to help? And these cats turned on me like a wolf. And they were, the way they spoke about you was like, it was like a hating position because you had done what you'd done. Can you speak on that?
I think people are scared. I think a lot of it is just fear of the unknown, right? And I really feel like how am I feeling right at this moment right now? I'm a little frustrated because of how people are responding or not responding, or it's a little frustrating. But I'm trying to gain understanding and heal with grace and be patient. They don't want us to unite, and they don't want us to fight either. And I feel like we're at a point in our lives where we're afraid to fight. We really believe the hype that they put out there, that they are all knowing and all powerful. We believe it on a very high level. We don't believe. I mean, it's like if the judge gave her all them things, it must be true. Like, y'all believe in this system more than you believe in yourselves. When are we gonna start believing in ourselves again? That's the thing that frightens me and scares me. Like, when are we gonna start believing in ourselves again? We're getting all these different information, these little videos about this one discovered this, that created that, this one did all this greatness, all this indigenous greatness, but yet, when are we going to get that light bulb idea that, y'all, we don't have anything to fear but our own fear? I was never afraid of this. I wasn't afraid. Because you know why? Because I knew I wasn't a fraud, for one. Because I knew I wasn't committed a crime, for two. I wasn't upset that they put that out in the media, and I wasn't upset that people did videos saying, yeah, she's a nurse, and she got, I really wasn't affected by that. Because you know what? Because I knew the truth. I knew the truth, so I wasn't really I wasn't fazed by that, because I'm on a mission and I got to get the job done. And I'm not trying to be deterred by somebody else's fear. I was really disappointed. Like, brothers saying, oh, well, this is very serious. And even lawyers hire attorneys to represent them. I'm like, what are you scared of? Do you understand that I have 52 indictments? How does one pay $200,000 for an attorney that is not even going to understand what they're doing? Because my case is a real estate case. It's an indigenous rights case. It's a civil rights case. And it's a criminal case. I would need 4 different types of attorneys, let alone how many attorneys would you need for something that they don't understand. You understand me?
Yep.
They set up a system where I was set up to lose. Because people straight out refused to represent any 52 indictments. They didn't know where to begin on that. Who gives a 61-year-old woman 52 indictments who's never had a crime, who's a friggin' master degree nurse, who didn't commit a crime to begin with? It's a fraud. It's not illegal. Filing the quit claims is not an illegal act. It is a transfer that you only can convey it if you own it. They were afraid because of the patents, because we do truly own it, that if you guys learn about it, what are they going to do? I understand the fact that also it's just like I was telling somebody today, if you ride down a road, right, and it's all you like, if y'all ever rode up a mountain, right, and it's got all these curves and stuff and turns and potholes, it's scary. You might look at that mountain and say, I'm not gonna ride on that mountain, and it's got potholes, and you might turn away. And yeah, I get that. So what we don't know is very scary, right? But even let's say you go up there, you take it slow, you do it, you find out, well, it's not as bad as what it looks like. And, I know where the potholes are now. See, once you make yourself familiar with even the most frightening thing, the fear evaporates. But you got to be familiar with it, which means you have to brave that. You have to be brave and you have to face the fear. But you're not going to get familiar if you don't have understanding. A lot of times we just fear it on face. 52 indictments and then you're done. You don't want to know anymore. But if you understood it, you see how much of a fraud it is. Is it really something to be afraid of? It's very frightening if you don't know how to deflate it, if you don't know how to expose it, if you don't know how to daggone eradicate it. But when you really, really understand it, they get scared. They get scared. And then you end up out of jail talking to people on Carrie's show, the Indigenous one. That's what happens.
Yeah, I just think it's important that we realize just always being fearful, always talking about nothing that makes no sense. Like I said, when she was talking about this is her land, she's part of those. She's from that umbilical cord where all those people are from. That's her. That's who's speaking to her. That's who's showing her signs on what to do. And I'm saying what you call these African American, these blacks, these hoteps, they're willfully disconnecting themselves from that. And you can hear them when they speak. They'll make you seem like Lisa's crazy. And she's 100% right. I see a lot of people in the chat saying, why is it always women that's doing that? Why is it always women that's standing up and these Negroes just talk that Jap shit? And this is what I'm saying. Study the spiritual ideologies of the indigenous people here, the Mississippians, the Accomacs. What did they think God and life was? And we have totally disconnected ourselves from that. And you're seeing it right here, right now. It ain't no NAACP coming up. It ain't no church. What's the dude name in Texas with the big church that everybody love?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
these ministers, you never
Somebody-
Never seeing them do nothing like this. They're doing what? Making sure boss is comfortable. So you hear all these cats talking about women, you gotta have $1 million to go out. No, those are cartoon characters. These are what our mothers and aunts and sisters have been planning for years. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of brothers, they out there just bashing sisters. And this is what you do. So I would say, Lisa, my hat's off to you. You know I'm with you 100%. These
Yeah.
cats not talking about nothing. So when I get into the room or whatever, be quiet because you're going to be asked questions because you're out here confusing everybody, making sure that we don't get to the place, all of us don't get to the place where Lisa's at. What Lisa's doing. All we do is yap.
Well, it's really not me. It's the ancestors. I want to clarify that. And also, I also want to realize that they don't understand that they are there. Like you're there. You just haven't attached yourself to your identity and to your land yet. But this is representing you. You just got to catch up to that. You know what I mean? Because in January, I'm going to Congress. I'm going to Washington, D.C. I'll be putting out Eventbrite's announcements. We're going to be gathering in Washington, D.C. because Congress needs to take action. This should never have gone this far. This should not have been a daggone act of war against a daggone woman who's acting as trustee for her nation. This indigenous daggone terrorism is out of control. And I'm going to let them know, and I need to have their audience, and I need to show up to Washington, D.C. when they're in session in January. That is the plan. I'll be giving you the date. It has to happen.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you for coming on, showing up today. You said you would.
Yeah.
And let everybody hear your voice. And I know you can tell from the well wishes that they're glad to hear your voice again.
Yes.
Closing words.
I appreciate everybody out there. I appreciate the well wishes. All I can wish for you is for you to have a vision. Start looking at your future differently. Start seeing that your life could change. Your rights should change. Your land should be yours again. But you have to take a step. You have to take a stand. And we can stand together because my stand is your stand. You ain't got to go out there and do it when I'm already doing it. This is the door opening. Step on in. I'm inviting you in. Let's go. Let's go.
Lisa, if people want to get in contact with you and lend support, how do they do that?
You can reach me on Facebook. I'm learin@gmail.com. I'm Indigenous Accomack on TikTok. I'm Indigenous Accomack, I think, on Instagram. And I'm also Indigenous Accomack on YouTube. I'm Indigenous Accomack also at gmail.com. So also you can reach me on my website, which I think is still up, I believe. And it'll go directly to my email and reach me with a direct text message. So there's lots of ways.
What's that website?
Accomack. Let me type it in. So let me type. Yeah, I think. Well, I gotta connect to comment. What the world? Connect. Oh, shit. Oh, that's why. Okay. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. So, yeah, right on it. Okay, that's the website. Did it work? What happened? Oh, connection failed? Huh. The comment has failed to post to Indigenous Accomack. I don't know what happened to that one. It might post it to you, but it didn't post to my Indigenous one. No, it failed to post to Indigenous one too. Huh. That's weird. Anyway, it's Accomack, ACCAWMACKE.org. That's the website. And I'll be putting some updates on there. What I want y'all to know is that everything is possible. Things that you thought were not. We do not have to be in the system. We do not have to call the police. We can have our own police, have our own fire department, have our own way of doing things, our own judicial system, just as we had before. That's why it was so important that I self-represent. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carrie. That's why it was so important. People were like, well, it was important because, first of all, nobody was trying to represent me. Secondly, because they gave me so many indictments, it was impossible to even afford someone to daggone represent you that wasn't trying to daggone run you into a plea deal. Everybody was trying to get you to go to a plea deal. But the other thing is that that's the way we stood as nations. We started this judicial system where individuals could come up and represent their case themselves. That's how we rolled. We did not have attorneys. We did not have people in wigs representing us. We stood up. We said, he took my daggone cow, or he took my daggone, he didn't pay me for the job I did. And we stood up and we represented ourselves. That's how we did it. We need to get back to that. We need to stand strong, understand our power and our worth, and get it together. You think we can't build a nation back? You think we can't build multiple nations back? I beg to differ. We've built everything that this planet has to offer that's good. Let's get back to that. Anna.
Thank you, Lisa.
Love you. Thank you.
So, is this generation motivated enough to do that? These are questions. These are questions that we have to ask ourselves. Instead of just always trying to come off smart and think we know everything and arrogant and dogging generations from the past. Really? The past generation did, dude, you're a part of that. You're a part of that. And so I think what this sister's doing, any one of us can learn from that. And if you don't want to learn from it, you're scared, like most Black people are. Why? Because they think they're nothing. They say that. I don't say that. This is what they say. There's no excuse for losing. Only if we do it to ourselves. You guys have a good night. Peace.